So that is SCDC in a nutshell. When I had a conversation with my sister, one day we were talking, and then she said to me, I forgot what we were talking about, and she said, the sky is blue. And when we were talking, the sky was blue in San Francisco, and it was really nice, it was never blue up there. And from that conversation, that motto has been our motto at SCDC, and for me, no matter the challenges, no matter the struggles, if you believe beyond what the eye can see, the sky is still blue. And so that's SCDC in a nutshell. And so just want to encourage all of you, if you guys all, want to build a community center or you build resources for our community, the best way to do it is to work in collaboration. And it doesn't happen overnight. You just have to work hard and work together and always put God first. So that's SCD.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Doc. So I was going to bring the mic around so everybody can have a question. We'd like to do a little Q&A, question and answer. So I'm just going to go ahead and start us off. Before we get to that, I just wanted to emphasize everybody, we have a program. We're running a little bit behind. We're going to go to a break shortly so we can stretch our legs and have a little bit of refreshment. And then we'll come back for the second half of the Talanoaga, which is focused mainly on mental health. But in the meantime right here, I wanted to ask specifically to Dr. Tito with regards to organizing. The challenges, what would you say would be the main challenge that you faced, that you guys faced in organizing and getting the Samoa Community Development Center off the ground and operating to where it's at right now? Whether it be a city or cultural, social.
You want me to be nice or candid? Want me to be candid?
Candid, yes, we can.
All right, well, I think, the challenges was that Samoan people weren't, or Patsy Tito people weren't being seen. And so we had to organize, but we didn't organize as a community. We had to, the 7 people we started with, that's how we had to organize. We had to spread people thin at the city level, at the school level, in the community. And one of the things we had to really do was build community. We had to we had to go out and meet our community. And mind you, if you're ever in San Francisco, if you ever come to San Francisco, SCDC is located at the top of the hill of Sunnydale in the Visitation Valley neighborhood. And when you sit at the top, you look down, and that's where a lot of our concentration of our people live. And those were subsidized housing. That's where, at that time, people always called the Sunnydale the ghetto. Yeah, all the Samoan people lived in the ghetto, right? Because that's what they called it. But it wasn't until, he started to go out in the community and making sure, our parents came here to America for the, where the milk and honey grows, right? But why do we have to act like we didn't come from Samoa or we didn't, you know, we weren't taught to be respectful or we weren't taught to be obedient. And so, and at that time in the 90s, you know, it was bad. I don't know what, I mean, I guess if I was, you know, 20 years younger, so I was able to navigate what I had to do. But thank God that, you know, one of the things I always thank God is that I never burned bridges in the community or in the city. You know, because I always went in with humility, with just, you know, being someone who was just wanting something for the community. You know, when we were 7 people, we only started with $750,000. You know, but it grew. Like in '96, it was only 250. You know, 3 years later, it grew, right? And it wasn't until 5 years ago that we were able to get that much money to be able to provide all of the different services, have all of these amazing organizations under SCDC. We had to work for that. We had to we had to be at those tables so that we could have a seat. Because there were people there that were advocating for Samoa and Patsy Tito people, but we weren't getting nothing. And so when they finally seen us, and there were 7 of us, plus the president of the SCDC, bless his heart, and he's up in heaven, hopefully smiling. But it wasn't until then that we were able to organize people, and now we still are organizing. You know, we still have those that don't like what you do at the top of the hill of Sunnyvale, but it's never about me. It's never about SCDC. It's always about our people, about the young, especially our young people, because we want to leave that path open so that when they get to that place, they don't have to go through the struggles we have to go through to get where we are at.
Nice. So, with regard to the impact that you guys have made, the progress that you've made, what would you say is the best place that we could invest our time or our money in our organizing, in our organizations down here? Where would be the best place to invest time and money in order to get to basically where you're at?
The best place is, I guess, your community. This is where you need to invest your time, the resources that you get. Is because if it weren't for the community, we wouldn't be where we're at. And so that's where we should invest in, is our community, like Mika and Matthias, and any other young person here because it's them that we're doing all of this for, and all the young people that are here. Even the elders, I'm sorry, even the elders too, but it's for those.
Well said. Anybody have any other questions? Any questions? Anybody want to? Go ahead.
Well, and Patsy, first I just have to say thank you for coming back home. One thing you mentioned was the collaborative effort, and I think that's where it really starts from, and I think it's important to hear that, because reinventing the wheel can be so straining, it can be exhausting, and I think if you can share with us a moment where, just share with us why collaborative efforts are so important, because I think as individuals in this room, under this roof, I think we need to hear those things, and sometimes it can be
Well, thank you for that question. I think, you know, you know how they, in the Samoan saying, the more hands you have, the lighter the load is. And that's what collaborating will be, is that we all can put aside and leave the egos at the door and then come into a space where we're talking about our community. We're talking about what is best for our community so that they can thrive and be successful, that they can do all of the different things that our parents came here for, is to live the American dream, so to speak. Although, you know, there are differences, and we could agree to disagree, but at the end of the day, we have to look at each other as people, not the color of our skin, but as people coming together to work in unity, in one mind, one body, one soul, is because the work that you do and with the community that you serve, one of the things that I always tell our SEC families, that if you can look into the eyes of the young people and you can see their soul, they are asking for help. They are asking to take me to a place where I can feel safe, and that I can be loved, and that I can nourish them in a space that we can call home. I hope that answers your question.
That answered it very nice, very nice. Eddie, you have a question?
You know, first of all, I just want to say just how grateful I am. First, not only to the Samoa Association, thank you for putting such a conversation together, and to have this room filled with so many different attributes of our Samoa community. We have some leaders that are in here. We have some community people. We have people that are invested in our culture here in San Diego. Now, where this finds its block is that we're each individually doing our own thing, trying to establish the same goal. And so I'm grateful to Samoa Association for inviting you, Dr. Tito, who's had a vast experience of putting that all together. And that's what we need to learn today. I'm so excited to hear. Mine would be a question to talk to you more about the 7 people, and how exactly did you gain visibility with the local officials? I mean, now you have status with the governor, and it's just amazing. So mine would be exactly where would we go with the talents and the committees and the gifts that this group has been given to get it together and to actually establish ourselves in the community. How would you go about it? Tell me about the 7 people.
Oh gosh. You know, when I started when I was appointed to be the ED for NCDC, I didn't even know what I was doing. I had to pick other ED's brains, pick people's how they were doing the work. Like I had to call my, you know, now she's my Asian sister, but I got a lot of sisters that are Asian, Black, Latin, all kinds, right? And so at that time, I had to pick their brains to kind of see what they were doing. And because Samoan Pacific Islander people were very small at the time back then. No, we were kind of big at that, you know, and because one of the things that helped us was that those my Asian brothers and sisters, or those that were allies of SCDC, they're the ones who introduced me to the mayor, the supervisors, the city officials, people that had power, that were able to, who were able to listen and see us. And so, as you said, there were folks out there doing, we were all working inside. And so we have to come together some way to make sure that our people are being seen. And one of the things that I know I was doing is that I not only was talking about TSASD, but I was talking about the community as a whole. And so when all of all these organizations started to come up, it was because of those conversations that we were having with those city officials that have power. And within the 7 of us, we had to spread ourselves out to different places and different communities, different schools. And I know they don't, I know at the time they didn't like me, but now they love me. But, but it was because that we didn't look at ourselves. We didn't do it for ourselves. That's what we did. I think that was one of the messages that we continue to carry even till today, is that it wasn't about us. It was always about our young people. It was always about the elders. It was always about the community and our families. And so now that there are more organizations Patsy Tito organizations, we, like I showed, there's 7 of us all together. There are other organizations that we do different things with each other. But hopefully, one day we'll all be able to sit around the table and be the voices of our community. The more voices, the more power that we have in the city. And we can say, although we are the smallest community, we have the highest disparity in everything, from health to education to employment. And so to be able to start with 7 and have over 40 of them, I'm gonna pop my collar because that was me.
So let's take a quick break. We'll take about 10 or 15 minutes, get some refreshments. We have some coffee, we have tea, some hot water, and then we'll come back together and do the second half of our Talanoaga. So hopefully we'll get back on our schedule. Thank you very much for attending so far. How about a great hand for
I always love when I hear young people stand up and speak their mind. But our elders are already set in their mind of how the things are, right? And even at 53, I still have trouble having conversations with my own mom. She's 81. But as young people, I look at it as, being, going to your parents and saying, Dad, I need a hug. I need this. I need that. I need you to listen to me. And then they'll probably say, what do you want me to do, right? And I think as young people, you will find your place in a time where, until our parents understand the true meaning of depression and anxiety and, all the different things that young people go through, our parents won't understand. Even like my mom, she, even till this day, we don't talk about our grief with our dad. That's her husband. That's our dad. But we never talked about it. And, you know, even with my sister, we don't talk about it. We always think, oh, daddy's this, daddy's here, daddy's whatever. But until we are able to have courage to tell our parents that I need you to listen to me, and not in a disrespectful way, but I need you to listen to me because these are the things that I need. These are the things, because if we don't have conversations around the table with our parents, especially young people, parents are always going to think like everything is okay, and then the next thing you know, something happens, something bad happens, and you know we have a high rate of suicide because young people are not being heard at the table. And, you know, until our parents understand what that means to you, and they won't give you that time of day. And that's just speaking as a Samoan brown woman that still I have a hard time talking to my own mom at 53. And so, because my mom was already, she old school, she if it's not this way, she don't want it. And if it's not that way, it's only her way. And, you know, I think there are times, though, you know, when we sit around the table and we have dinner, those are the best times to say, Mom, you know, did you know I was going through this? And she'll say, what is this? What are you talking about? You know, and she said, and then I said, Mom, did you know that I was going through my own, you know, grief with Daddy? And she goes, no, I didn't know. And so, right before I left, my mom, I was saying, all right, bye, Mom, I'm leaving. That was probably the first time in a long time I heard my mom say, yeah, I love you. I was just like, looked back, I was like, did you just say that to me? But I took it. I took whatever I could get from my mom at that moment, and I'm going to take it. I think that having conversations with your parents or any parent, I think it starts with trust. It starts with the family dynamics. How you know you were raised, although there are times where now that you're grown, you know, some of our parents still look at you like you're still young and that you can't say nothing at the table. But until you can have courage and just, you know, having those courageous kind of conversations with your parents, in that time, you will find your time that you're able to speak to your mom or your dad or anyone around the feelings that you have. Like, you know, even one day, I don't know how your relationship, but even one day, just go hug your mom and like, Mom, this is what I need. And she'll probably like say, what's wrong with you? And all I need is just.
I wanted to kind of follow up on that question and other. I noticed you mentioned that, you know, you have to create this safe space in order for that conversation to happen. What can we as a community do in order to create that conversation between, because like the daughter just said, it's really hard for them to go directly to the parents. So, you know, organization like this, or in perhaps the pastor's, you know, congregation, what kind of setting should we have these kind of conversations in a more structured manner so that that generation and this generation kind of see eye to eye? Is that something we can do?
I'm sure that is very possible. I think it doesn't matter what structure and where you're at. When you're in that space, it could be at the park, it could be outside the store. When you build that relationship or a rapport with that person, that is the time you have safe space. At least you can have that person and yourself feel safe in that space to begin having those conversations. So I could have conversation with anybody, anywhere, and my focus is to make sure that space is safe, so that they don't feel judged, they don't feel like they are belittled in a space that they're asking for. And like I mentioned, once you look into someone's eyes, they'll tell you what they want. And so even in that space, is safe. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for bringing that up. It's such a powerful question. When you talk about the space of being, how do you be, or how does the parent feel, how does the daughter feel, or son feel that you show up in a safe space? In what way do you become, or what would you have to give up that you show up as a safe space? Because what I noticed in the Samoa community is that doesn't exist, because I'm taught to be a certain way. And what I found is really hard for my daughter to speak to me. And so my question to you is, what way of being for you do you have to show up that your daughter and your son gets to be heard? What would you have to give up for you to clear that space, that whatever it is that is being said, that is open to be heard? I think that part of that is we children, or my children, aren't being heard. What way of being do we have to be as a parent to allow their voice to be heard?
Thank you for that question. These questions get harder and harder and harder. It's different when you a parent to a child, a therapist to a child, or a therapist to a parent. I think one of the things I hear is that the young people will say, well, my parent don't want to listen. My parent is A, B, and C. Nothing bad, it's just the parent, in young people's lives, that's their mom, that's their dad. So how am I supposed to act with them if I cannot tell them how I feel? So as a parent, listening, understanding, being able to not judge your kids and not bring in stuff that you were raised on, right? Because when you become a parent, you be like, I'm not going to treat my kids the way my parents treated me, or I'm not going to raise my kids the way my parents raised me. But at the end, sometimes you do raise your kids the way you were raised, right? It's because, believe it or not, young people, that was the best way we were raised. I was, at least for me. But in order, in this day and age, and in this era, parents need to begin to start listening. Because listening is one of the things that a parent, or even the young people, can actually hear themselves as they talk and as they share their feelings and emotions. You can hear the cry. You can hear the healing. You can hear the different things that you might not even know about your child, and then as well as the child to the parent. And as someone, as a therapist, all we do is listen. And the whoever's in front of us, they're the ones who continue to talk. And as they continue to talk, they begin to learn and understand their own, how to deal with their own issues, or they learn how to talk to their parents. Because that's, in the mental health, in the therapy, in our world as therapy, all we do is listen. And we give little advice here and there, but it is up to the person to make those changes in the relationship between a parent and a child to a parent, or any relationship that you have that you feel like this relationship is worth living, listening to. I don't know if, it's kind of hard when you're a parent and you have to, figure out these things. Like I said, parenting don't come with a handbook. So you have to learn all of the parenting skills you can get. But at the same time, it can be good, it can be bad. And, and if you said, as a parent, if you said you don't want to raise your kids the way your parents taught you, maybe that's something you should think about. Is like, did I or am I raising my kids the way I was raised? Because it's a little different these days. And, all you can do is, comfort and listen. And, every now and then, I don't know about now, but I know my parents, they weren't very affectionate when I was growing up. And it wasn't until when I got older that, they were affectionate and saying, I love you, and, all this stuff. But it wasn't until I got older. But I missed a lot of that growing up. And so what I tell a lot of young people is like, no matter, whatever happens, that you make sure you say, I love you to your parents. So I'm going to ask this question, not to get away from it. How many of you have told yourself, I love you? Just raise your hand. Yeah. How many of you don't say, I love you to yourself? So,
That's a hard question. You can't ask a question like that.
so this is my argument is, everybody can say I love you to someone else, but you can't say it to yourself. And when you say it to someone else, does it mean the same when you say it to yourself?
That's tough. Come on, Doc.
So it's a practice, right? You gotta practice at, saying I love you to yourself, because, if God loves you, you gotta love yourself, because you're here for a reason. And so, it's those three words that can make a difference in one's life.
Heavy. Questions? Passing the mic around. So, while you guys think about a question, I have another question for you.
Yeah.
Marole sa i te ta ko flambe lewo fa i na wa fa umma ona tan ro ko le no wel ale ko ma Patsy Tito le lava nei ta wa sa tan rino le ko si sa sinia wala vale ko le ko ma ko le ko nas ko le mental health to I know this is community. This is loving you, San Diego. It's what you start to do that stay part of we.
Okay, so you just completed your presentation today here in San Diego, and how was the experience?
It was great. It was great. I think, speaking in front of your own community is one of the highlights of what I love to do. And, God placed me here today, and so I'm very grateful and thankful that I'm able to come and share the journey along with my Samoan people here in San Diego.
How do you feel the message was received? Did you anticipate this kind of a crowd, or?
Well, no, I didn't expect this crowd, but I think, at least I hope that the message that I was able to articulate around mental health and that it's accepted and that people will, go home and just think about a lot of things in their own lives and what was said today, and hopefully they use it and give themselves grace in the meantime.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.